Hey yo, this is the Beyond the Dojo podcast. I am Lauren.
I'm Jeremiah.
And,
Almost a sound, not a word.
okay. Well, we had a really cool night of training tonight.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we did. We
had some Minnesota friends join us on Zoom.
Yeah, we did. That was
cool.
fun. So, different. We were like spazzing. But
Yeah.
I think we did fine.
Yeah, I felt like I flopped, so.
Jeremiah did fine. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
They loved it. They asked questions.
Alright.
Hey, if, shameless plug, had a really cool experience today. Got a chance to do an online consultation for 2 karate athletes where I helped them kind of revamp their strength training program. If you need that, check the description box, the show notes, and you can hit me up, dog, because I have so much fun doing this kind of stuff. I just want to sit around on the computer and talk to people all day long. Okay.
Shameless plug 1.
Shameless plug-in, but it was super fun. So we're going to do a fun episode today where we are going to answer all of the top suggested questions from Google by typing in things about karate. So, for example, first question. Why is Karate Kid not on Netflix, Jeremiah?
It is on Netflix. No, it's not.
I have no idea. I thought it was on Netflix.
I thought it was on Netflix too, so.
I don't know.
I don't
Karate
know.
Kid wasn't
it should be on Netflix. Change it.
Karate Kid wasn't that good of a movie, so. I mean, it was okay. Like, the first one was okay.
How can you say that? You like Cobra Kai because of the horrible, cheesy acting.
Because it's so awesome,
The Karate Kid is exactly that.
I don't know. The first one was fine. The second 2 were, they were sequels.
They were horrible.
Anyway.
I agree with you there. They weren't the greatest.
Right.
All right. What's the second one? Why is karate good for you?
Why is karate good for you? Because it makes you not dead.
Yes.
Because it's good for physical fitness. It's good for mental development, emotional development, for anger management, which is what Jeremiah and I both needed as children. It's anger management.
Sure.
What else? Good for building strength, coordination. We have lots of non-athletes come to us to train, and we turn them into little athletic turds.
Yeah. Fortitude.
For sure.
Intensity.
Yes.
Drive.
Yes.
Discipline.
Yes.
All
those things.
Influenced by another culture.
Right.
Different things.
Why is karate not a martial art?
I didn't know it was.
You didn't know that it was?
It
wasn't.
Wasn't.
Why is karate not a martial art? It is, guys.
It is.
Why would you think that it wasn't? You know what's so funny is that in conversations with people, I think the general population does not realize that martial arts is an umbrella term for like karate, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, judo, like for everything.
Yeah. I
had somebody that I was doing a self-defense thing for. They were like, "Oh, I don't really want to do karate. I want to do martial arts." That's
what it is.
That's like that meme with the cat.
Yeah.
Where they like throwing their hands up, like that's what this is. What do you mean?
Yeah. It's a product of what karate has become in the United States, though. Yeah.
Well, no, I think it's more like MMA, like mixed martial arts. People think that that's what martial arts is. They don't realize that that's a blend of all of the martial arts.
I'm not saying MMA is not sophisticated. I'm just saying it's a rudimentary approach to martial arts.
Sure. Yeah. It's the bare bones, like, let's fight it out until somebody's bleeding.
Yeah, and yeah. But then they take out the good stuff.
Yeah, all the extra fun stuff.
All the effective stuff.
All of the debilitating, change your life in a bad way kind of stuff. Yeah, like
snap your elbows and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't get that. Why is karate so popular?
I
didn't really think it was.
I think karate as a namesake is popular. I don't think actual karate is popular. Yeah. I don't think actual traditional karate is popular. That's actually a huge problem in the traditional karate community, is that it's not popular. All these other martial arts are kind of, again.
I think people, like you were just saying, think karate is the umbrella, term in martial arts.
Else,
it's like, no.
Right. Why is Karate Kid so popular?
Because it teaches great American values.
kicking people off of posts and stuff?
I mean, back in the day, it was super popular when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what it is. Because I thought it brought to the movies something that wasn't happening a lot, and that was a positive light on the Asian culture.
Yeah.
And then trying to kind of mix that in with American culture and how that mix is working.
Sense, yeah.
So I thought that was what kind of was the appeal.
Yeah.
And they used the karate as the thing.
Gotcha.
But I like Karate Kid because the moves were cool. The whole movie was cool. It opened my eye to other movies that were like a little bit more realistic for the time. Like, to me as a child, I thought Bloodsport was more realistic, even though it was just stupid and gory.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, because you're illiterate in martial arts films.
Illiterate in martial arts films.
Yes.
Yep.
Why is karate so expensive?
I don't know what karate school you're going to, but most traditional schools are not expensive. Maybe the Taekwondo schools that claim that they're karate schools. No, most karate schools are not very expensive. I think what's average in the United States, like $65 a month?
No, I think it's more than that.
More?
Yeah, it all depends on where you're located.
Yeah.
I've heard of people in New York City charging $120 a month.
Right.
I've heard people on San Francisco, Cupertino, charging just about the same a month.
Yeah, I've heard of people easily charging $200 a month.
Yeah. So, but that being said, those locations, you kind of can afford to make your prices high and get that upper echelon, I guess.
Other thing, soapbox for a second here. If you are getting a good service and a good product and good teaching, expensive is very relative. Like, what you're willing to invest is completely dependent on how much you actually want it, and also if they're actually a good teacher, which is hard to know if you're a beginner, but expensive is kind of relative. Why is karate important?
The developmental side of it, how it develops you as a person, discipline, activity, like nowadays, just physical activity.
Yeah.
Coordination.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of times the confidence come from our students' display is not because they're badasses, it's because they're coordinated enough that they don't feel awkward when they have to do something physical.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I believe it's just they don't feel as awkward doing things anymore, so that confidence, that gives them confidence,
Yeah.
So, now looking at it from an adult perspective, I would say it's an effective art. It's an extremely effective art.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for several generations, it's been watered down and misled, and kind of unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, because now our generation had the opportunity to kind of to investigate those things and kind of rejuvenate the whole idea and make it legit. Show people this is why we do these things and have a reason behind it. So I'm excited about that. So that's why karate is important. What do you think?
Why it's important?
Yeah.
So people don't get beat up on the street, man. In the street. So you don't get beat up by bullies and stuff.
How's karate different from Taekwondo?
For the first one.
Excuse me?
The first. How is karate different from Taekwondo?
Yeah.
There's not as many kicks, and there's not as much of an emphasis on athleticism, and you don't actually have to be... I'm not sure exactly how Taekwondo goes, but from what I have seen, there's a little bit more emphasis on physical strength. So you don't physically have to be as strong to do Shotokan, at least, because you're basically working on intramuscular coordination. It would be greater, it would be better if you were stronger, but there's a lot more like mechanical finesse from what I have seen. I might be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but when a Shotokan karateka takes 4 to 6 years to get the Shodan, and some Taekwondo schools get their black belts in 8 months, sorry guys, that's hard to... But there are karate schools that are the same way, but it seems like there are very few. Well, we run in
a tight knit community where we're running across guys that's been running karate dojos for several decades, and their approach is still old school, where it's a community thing and not a money making thing. Yeah. Even professional karate guys that do traditional arts, they still have a essence of it's a community thing. They don't really focus on the money or they just know they're good enough to demand high dollar.
Yeah. How is karate pronounced?
Karate.
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 Oops, I messed this up. How is karate scored?
I assume they're talking about sparring.
This is Google. There's no telling what they're talking about. You just take that and run with it.
I guess it's sparring and just, what was it? Ippon is a convincing, clear killing blow, I guess, is a big way.
I'm not sure the killing blow necessarily, but
if you understand
decisive
technique, something decisive. That's the better way.
Yeah.
And then knee humble. I can't never know. It's been so long since I said these words.
Well, how do they decide what is the score in a tournament? How do they decide what works?
The requirements for it,
sure.
Okay,
like
so
for scoring a point.
Decisive movement, clear target, clear scoring target, clean control throughout the entire technique, good distance and timing, and precise movement, precision, with intention. You have to display to the judge or the ref that you intended to do that technique, not just happen to do it. That's where people's kind of That's what when we do tournament stuff, we don't do a lot of the spinning back fists and stuff because a lot of those guys, they just spin and throw their arm out there. And it's not really, there's a way to do it that's really technical, and then there's a way you don't do it.
Right.
And a lot of the people that choose to do those techniques don't do them the correct way. So
yeah. I was once told that I was not being given points in a tournament because I wasn't ki-eyeing. Was very upset about that. And I did try from that point, but the match was basically already over. So
yeah.
Anyway, was not happy about that. And if you guys are watching this that did that, I'm sorry. It made me mad. Okay, your turn.
I think that's just inexperience and understanding the sport aspect of it. And what
me?
Yeah,
but why would you have to ki-eye whenever you're... That's dumb. I'm sorry. I will not back down from that. I don't like it.
Do you understand what ki is and the essence of what it's intended to do? How
sure,
it connects?
But you can do that without making audible noise.
How does the ref know you do it, though? How do you display that? If you're putting yourself on display... that's what you're doing in sparring.
Yeah,
how do you display that this is my intent with saying, I meant to do that?
I think physically you would be able to show that. There's obviously speed, like all of this, basically everything that you just described. Literally everything you just described without the noise, to me, is a pretty good way to score a point.
Listen, go to Billy's yard.
No, I get that part. I get that part. I just don't like it. I'm not saying I won't play by the rules. I just don't like it.
I don't like the excessive kiang.
Sure. Yeah, I don't like it either.
Yeah, that or I have a bad habit of after a while in certain tournaments, I'll just kiai every technique.
yeah.
Because it's like
you're crowing.
Well, some of it is a intimidation thing, and some of it is like these. A lot of times, your refs are not any higher qualified than you are. You know what I mean? And you gotta you really gotta sometimes lead them by their hand. Say, this
Let me show you what this looks like.
Yeah, but no disrespect. It's a difficult job.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult job.
Yeah.
I've done it. But it's, it's not a very well...
It's hard to get good judges in a tournament, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just fact of life. Fact of tournaments.
Yeah, you just have to accept it, yeah. You want me to ask you a question now? Is that why you're dictating
that's
what I do?
That's where the questions are, yeah.
Oh, okay. How old is Karate Kid now?
How old? How is Karate Kid now? That's what it says.
Oh, how old is Karate Kid now?
How is Karate Kid now? I'm sure he's fine.
How old is Karate Kid?
I'm sure he's fine. How old is he?
Yeah.
How old is the guy that plays his
Marciano,
character?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is he like in his 50s?
52, 53.
I think he's... But how he is, I don't know. I don't know how he's doing. I don't actually know him.
He's a little soft in the Cobra Kai shit. I ain't gonna lie, man.
He is a little bit soft.
He's a little bitch.
Dude, chill.
Sorry.
It's okay.
He's soft.
Okay.
So soft.
How is karate different from kung fu?
I don't know. Well, origin.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
come on.
We all come from one common ancestor, sort of.
Hippie.
But, well, the other thing is, like, it doesn't look the same at all.
Right.
I don't know. Are there any karate styles that look like kung fu?
Yeah. You like your rules? Is that kind of
a little more like shorter
stances and whippy.
Still, but Kung Fu is a whole lot of like shoo, that stuff.
Yeah,
well that's more Tai Chi, I guess.
Yeah, well, no, Kung Fu has the same thing. If you look at Shaolin stuff like that, and the animal styles, it's more stylistic than karate. It's not as direct as karate. I mean, you look at karate. Oh yeah, they're doing a martial art.
Yeah.
You watch Kung Fu. I mean, some of the stuff you watch, you're like, huh. You know, is it more of a theatrical thing or not? Especially when you go into animal styles.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of the imitation of the animal.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it can work if you put a lot of study into it, but from the beginner or, novice eye, it's like, looks like they're dancing.
It's very, soft, flowy, like...
I have a lot of respect for Kung Fu. Don't get me wrong. It's just...
Yeah. Well, they have a lot... They do have some quick, hard movements, right?
They're just stylistic.
Very circular, yeah.
They're just very stylistic. I mean, to me, that's just a sign of the art being older.
Right.
They had to figure out how to do these things and figure, I mean, just think about it. They obviously watched animals fight each other. Mm-hmm. And then they picked up those moves, and then they imitate, it was just this whole process. They didn't, unlike Japanese martial arts, it was influenced by tradesmen. So people who did karate did kung fu or something would intermingle with the people in Okinawa who were mainly
influenced by tradesmen. You mean? Yeah.
So it was a little bit more straightforward and direct.
Right.
So.
Okay, your turn.
What is karate good for?
What's karate good for?
Yeah.
What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. It is good. Well, kind of like the same question that we answered earlier. It's good for mental and emotional development for one thing, regardless of age. It's also good for maiming or otherwise debilitating another person. So, actual karate training is good for development. Actual use of karate is good for very dangerous and bad things if you do it,
If you like that violence.
If you like that stuff. Yeah. Or some karate is good for winning tournaments and things.
Karate is a multi-use tool.
It is very, very pronged fork. Very multi-pronged fork.
Yes.
Yep, and you can pick up stuff with it.
Yes.
With the fork.
You watch The Office way too much. It's influenced your
They definitely did not talk about multi-pronged forks on The Office. What's the Karate Kid on?
TV.
Meth?
Sure.
What's a karate uniform called?
I don't know. You tell me.
Why would they call it a dogi sometimes? Is it just the formal name?
Yeah, that's the full word, dogi.
It's okay. So we just say gi.
Gi because we're Westerns and we butcher everything.
By the way, guys, gi is spelled G-I. Not ghee, I think there's a cheese called ghee or something, G-H-E-E.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes I get messages from parents do they need to wear their ghee? G-H-E-E, their cheese? That might not even be cheese, I might be wrong.
I wouldn't expect the parents to know the difference.
Yeah. What's karate used for?
You just said.
Well, now that you asked me what is karate good for, I'm asked what is karate used for. What's it actually used for?
Nowadays?
Yeah.
Babysitting.
True dat. No, that's actually very true. I was actually just thinking, we're very big on setting boundaries with families and parents so that we don't turn into a daycare.
Yeah.
Because it's great to be able to influence kids' lives, and we want lots of students and we want lots of kids, but we also really don't want to be babysitters, and we also don't want to be the only form of discipline that the children get, which is not. And it's just very rare that that's the case. Yeah. But you
gotta prepare ourselves.
It's good
for the worst case.
For all the things. Let's see here.
I think these questions are getting kind of crappy.
That's why I think they're funny. Oh, there we go. Here's a good one.
When is karate in the Olympics?
2021, because #COVID turds. I think that'll be fun. I don't know. You think it's gonna be bad?
Judo was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And after that, they it changed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not in the sense of. It's just like Taekwondo. You got Olympic Taekwondo, which is completely different than.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's Olympic Taekwondo, and then there's like Taekwondo.
Maybe that's why we're such haters on Taekwondo. Maybe we're all looking at Olympic Taekwondo.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, so Olympic Taekwondo is...
But we already have WKF. Like, that's already, like, been established. So do you think it's going to get worse after one time in the Olympics?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's going to get more theatrical in the katas. It's going to get more flashy to... Because what you got to remember, Olympics, you have to display it to where the audience understands what's happening. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, they have to... It's got to be that obvious.
Yeah.
So that's why they did a lot of the scoring. You know, the hook kick is obvious. Mm-hmm. The roundhouse is obvious, but not as obvious. Mm-hmm. So, you know, things like that where they emphasize different techniques because it's easily scored.
Yeah.
And that's what you're trying to do is water it down for the audience.
I was watching...
I mean, look at us. We watch ice skating and gymnastics, have no clue what they're doing, but can appreciate it. Mm-hmm. You know, so...
I was watching... I think it was somebody performing kata or, like, doing a drill or something very WKF style. And... I don't know. Sorry, guys. This is going to sound really judgmental. And I'm not saying they're not great athletes, but watch... You
are pretty judgmental.
Well, just watching it and, like, watching the emphasis on, like, the really, like, very surface level snappy movement thing, I just, to me, it's just not appealing. I don't get it. I mean, it's awesome that they found one of those prongs of karate that they like, and that's fantastic. I can't conceptualize it.
Yeah, I don't hate. I mean...
No, y'all have fun.
No, see, in my perspective and how I look at it is sport karate is a necessary thing to go to
I think
develop,
yeah.
To develop as a full, well-rounded karateka, mature karateka.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it is the adolescence of your karate life. You're immature. Your goals are kind of shallow.
Sure.
It's about the not the flash, but what I can do, not what it is.
Yeah.
So I honestly encourage people to be active in karate, the sport karate, because it teaches you things that, you know, traditional karate can't.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have the opportunity to test yourself.
Yeah.
Now, do I think it should be the focus of your karate? Hell no.
Right.
That's pretty shallow. So.
Yeah. And I mean, guys, remember
that's coming from someone who trained a lot of years just doing that.
Right.
To the point of burnout.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. And like.
I mean, your experience is limited.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that. Well, kind of going back to what you said about, like, that's the kind of the amateur years of your karate life, and then you're going into something more deep after that point. Like, you're basically, you're a karate baby if you're in tournament years. It's not to say that you are immature as a person. It's just karate has so much depth that, I mean, that's kind of the issue that I have is, like, there's so much more depth there. To stop at that level is just like, ugh, like, I get that it's another facet. It's just cringy to me. It just...
And that's the beautiful thing about karate.
I know that it doesn't matter what Lauren thinks. That you can do whatever you want.
No, it's so multifaceted that everybody has a prong on the fork.
True that.
So.
Okay, Jeremiah, when is karate?
When is karate? Karate is now.
Karate is always. All things are karate. Where is karate from?
Japan. Okinawa.
Wow, that was
China.
Very insightful. We all come from a common ancestor in China. Not all of us.
Yeah, well,
Some of us
claim, the modern claim is that it's Fushan prefecture in China, in the area there, and we came from the white crane style.
Right.
And if you look at our katas and compare them to the white crane style, it's very similar. You know, you could tell that there's a connection there.
Yeah. So,
especially the more Okinawan styles, or Okinawa, like, you know, your Shito-rus and stuff like that, you could really see the similarities. So I would say, you know, Fushan, China.
For some of the, this is what I have read, so I'm not a historian, don't quote me on this. From my understanding, it went from China, was kind of migrated to Okinawa because Okinawa was under basically kind of control of Japan and China at the same time.
Right.
So they had Chinese influence, and then they also kind of had Japanese oppression at the same time. It was funny because when I was growing up, our teacher used to say that, oh, it was developed by Japanese or Okinawan poor people, so they would take all of their tools and they would learn how to fight because the Japanese were oppressing them and they took all their weapons away. Well, it's not. One person was saying it's not as likely. It's Shotokan Secret.
Yeah.
By Bruce Clayton. He was like, it's not as likely that the impoverished folks on Okinawa actually developed this stuff. Number one, because they were uneducated, but two, because they were in the fields, like, working all the time.
They wouldn't have the time to do that.
It's more likely that, like, the nobility of Okinawa did that, and you can actually see images of, like, the guard doing set up in what would look like the teki kata. So the idea is that it kind of developed under, like, they call it the Shuri Crucible, I guess. Yeah. They're under a lot of pressure by China and Okinawa and Japan. So then from there, developed after a long time, it went to Japan and then was spread all over the world.
But right before it went to Japan, it had another kind of like evolution.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Not progression, just change.
Yeah. All of the other questions are about Karate Kid. What is everyone's deal with Karate Kid?
It's a movie.
Also, there was a question whenever I was looking this up earlier about why is the newer Karate Kid in China or whatever.
No clue.
I don't understand that at all. Why did they do that? Why did they do the kung fu thing? It's not karate. That just made it so much harder on us. Now we have to explain that even more. You know how many people have had come into the dojo? So I used to, when I was in 6th grade, as a social studies project, my mom and I, and by my mom and I mean my mother, sewed a kimono. And it was as close to, like, traditional as we could based on, like, the materials that we had and the pattern that I found. And I won the social studies fair, and our karate teacher was so excited about this kimono that he would have me wear it in our fall festival parade every year, and I hated it. After the first year, I was like, can I please not do this anymore? So I'd wear this kimono every year, and people would be like, oh my, I literally had a child one time go, oh my gosh, it's China! Like, pointing at me, and I'm like, what? So, anyway, but I get that, for white people, it's Asia. Because we have problems with differentiating people from different cultures. So.
White privilege?
What? Anyhow, the rest of the questions are dumb.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
Again, still side snap kick and the Wonkan application. Not much.
Yeah.
So, what you working on?
I was, on the jump thing and in Konkusho, I was working through, I forgot about this last podcast we did. Was working through, the beginning of Konkusho again. And doing the step-in punch again, because that's what I'm always working on.
But hold up. By the way, I'm not trying to get out of the TV screen. My chair keeps on sliding to the right.
We have a slidey house.
Yeah. Cheap chairs.
I'm trying to be better about balancing that, like, pelvis, anterior, posterior, not tilt. So rather than doing the whole, like, hiccup thing in the middle of a step, I'm trying to be better about balancing that tension there, abs versus glutes. And I was for a while trying to bear down on my lower abs, like I was having some problems, and trying to hold my pelvis still as I was step. That obviously did not help. And then it was pointed out to me, oh yeah, you should actually concentrate on your glutes a little bit more. And I'm like, oh yeah, duh. So I did that, and that actually helped a little bit. I still have a little bit of a wiggle when I move, like, very often. But when I think about it, it's a little bit better. So that's what I'm working on, is still pelvic control in stepping and trying to apply that to Konkusho. So, cool beans.
Cool beans.
Yep. So maybe one of these days, Google will have very intelligent questions in its search bar, suggestions.
No, probably not.
Okay. Well, we can dream. Maybe we'll all be wrong, and the Olympics will make everyone very karate smart. Or wanting to be karate smart.
I hope that the Olympics brings more interest to karate.
Yeah.
I'm not excited to know, like, what the expectation's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. It's like they're gonna expect something. I'm like, nah, that's not what we do.
Isn't there? Oh, you know what we need? We need I'll probably make this as the cover of this. We need a meme of Grumpy Cat with a karate gi on, like karate's in the Olympics. I hate it. Right on. All right. On that note, anything else to add?
No.
All right. Thanks for listening to our babble. Bye.
Bye.